place where he goes. And could he pay to the Las Vegas Raiders $48 million, $32 guaranteed?
Well, look at that. The Raiders are making a ton of moves. We'll get back to Kwity Paye. Let's continue on with the Tua Tagovailoa conversation. Dan, I'll go back to you. Think about what Kevin Stefanski wants to do there. You got Bijan Robinson on that offense. You got Tommy Rees as the OC. How do you like the fit of Tua plus Michael Penix? Maybe sharing time? Who knows?
It's the right decision by Atlanta. Michael Penix tore his ACL, which I believe is the third of his career, in November. So Atlanta needs a guy that at least can, one, run their whole offseason for the most part. We're talking about a new head coach in Kevin Stefanski and offensive coordinator Tommy Rees. They need somebody to be their starting quarterback in April, in May, in June, and for this whole offseason for this football team. And then you might need a guy that has to start opening day. So you needed someone that was going to be comfortable in that role. The second thing is, you just need somebody to be a point guard. That's what Tua is. It's when he's at his best. This is an offense that is wildly talented in Atlanta. It's a very good offensive line. It would be by far the best offensive line Tua has had to play with in his NFL career. And it's going to be a relatively lateral transition system-wise. It's not exactly the same thing as McDaniel, but it very much so is what Tommy Rees likes to do underneath the center, play action, move the pocket, work the middle of the field. This is the right move by Atlanta.
Yeah, Dan, to your point, the Falcons coaching staff with Kevin Stefanski believe that despite maybe some lack of arm strength with Tua, they can create those yards after catch opportunities. They have weapons. They have Drake London. They have Bijan. They just need to be able to get them the ball. And this, to me, says a lot about Michael Penix because he wants to be back week one. That's not a guarantee. They need somebody who can leave the light on and start 4 games, 6 games, just somebody there. But this tells me they have not given up on Michael Penix. This Tua is clearly not a long-term solution.
Man, cut the light off. Like, honestly, and this is in no way a disrespect to Tua, but if I'm already dealing with Michael Penix, who has knee issues and injury issues, I don't want to have another quarterback in my quarterback room who health, injury, and safety is a concern. I want a quarterback who I believe I can count on, a quarterback who can do some of the things from a physical standpoint that maybe Michael Penix can't do because of some of the injuries. And I know we keep talking about having 2 left-hand quarterbacks. Man, I don't care if they throw the ball with their forehead, right? You need them to be healthy. And we're saying that he could fit into some of the things that Tommy Rees can do. Mike McDaniel built his entire offense to help Tua Tagovailoa be successful. The reason he got the deal for over 50 plus a year in Miami was because everything there was perfect for him. You want to talk about yards after the catch? Nobody did that the way Tyreek and Jalen Waddle did early on in Tua and Mike McDaniel's tenure. I don't love this. I don't believe this is the right decision. I believe not having a quarterback in that room who you can count on from a safety and injury standpoint was not the move.
But this to me is a backup quarterback signing. I mean, that's really what, this is how I look at it. They need somebody to hold the fort down.
But you got to feel like with Michael Penix, you're going to get to the backup at some point.
Well, yeah, I mean, third ACL tear, that's the reality for him. Penix on his 5th season-ending injury in 8 seasons between the college ranks and the NFL. Dan, you wanted to comment one more thing on Penix or Tua.
RC, I agree with your points, and I'm not sitting here telling everybody that I think this is you are the starting quarterback, but you needed someone who could be the starting quarterback in Atlanta. And while your points are 100% fair and valid, I think the reality is Atlanta and Ian Pace, their new general manager with Ian Cunningham, looks at it and goes, we don't have a first-round pick. The other options out there, Kirk Cousins, and the cost has moved on, is Geno Smith, who might have other options. Kyler Murray, who might have other options. And so I think when you're Atlanta and you look back and you look at reality, you need someone who can at least operate your offense for a chance throughout the offseason and the starting of the season. At a minimum.
That's really fair. That's really fair.
And guys, remember, the Dolphins are paying the majority of his salary. The Falcons don't pick until the 48th pick in the draft. That's almost midway through the 2nd round. So when you look at what they may get at that point, they probably didn't think they were getting a backup quarterback. Coming up, the Jets.
To get them, the Bengals, Brian Cook, 3-year deal.
And Brian Cook is one of those safeties when you go, okay, is he great? No. Is he bad? No. But you know what he does? He's steady. And you know from playing in the secondary, if you have a steady safety back there, a guy you can rely on, play in and play out, that's what Brian Cook is. And I think that's going to be a loss for them down the road. So, yeah, all of a sudden you look at the secondary, They have to address some issues there. There's still some safeties on the market. There's still a lot of safeties in the draft, by the way.
So, Logan, what do they do to now fill all these positions that are now gone?
Well, there's still a lot more free agency to go, right? I mean, technically, it hasn't even started yet. We've been here all day, but this is how you know it's popped off early. There's still a lot more guys out there to go, and then you talk about the draft, right? And there's some good DBs in the draft, and the Chiefs have done a good job of identifying young draft picks like McDuffie and developing them, and then just not paying them. That's kind of how they do. So they're going to do it again. They're going to strike gold again in the draft, kind of what the Eagles did when they found their secondary in the draft with Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell. They're going to see if they can find that in this year's draft, because you need some guys out there to play. I know Patrick Mahomes is great and these guys are great, but if you give up quick touchdowns over top, it's really hard to win a lot of games consistently.
It's funny you mentioned the Eagles, because Reed Blankenship's a free agent out there available as a safety if you want to try and go that route.
Right.
So, I mean, there are guys available if they can do that.
Ideally, I'd just like to see him stay there where he is. So let's talk about the Eagles. We talked about the Rams, potential contenders next season. The Chiefs are trying to get back to it. Ben, I'll go to you here. And look, as Pete mentioned, they have Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP. Don't know if that means they're kind of going to renew their promise to the run when Patrick Mahomes gets back. On a whole, how are you feeling about the Chiefs and how they're looking?
I think good. At the end of the season, there were a lot of questions. Hey, is the dynasty over? How do we reload? Is Mahomes going to be ready? Is Travis Kelce going to be back? And the start of free agency for Chiefs fans has been awesome. We know we're getting Travis Kelce back. We just went and got Kenneth Walker, who's the Super Bowl MVP. And I would assume that means Mahomes is probably a little bit ahead of timeline on recovery. So all this team does is reload. They find ways to keep getting better. They've got a front office. They've got a head coach. They've got a quarterback. And in the NFL, if you got those pieces together, you're always going to have a chance. So the Chiefs, I think, are in a good spot today so far.
Anyone concerned?
They got to figure out what they're going to do at the right tackle position, as well as another pass rusher, one on the interior, one on the edge.
Yeah, look, the problem for the Chiefs when they haven't won has been the same problem has been for years. When they didn't beat Tampa Bay, what happened in that Super Bowl? They got abused up front. When they haven't had success throwing the football and running it, they've been abused up front. On the defensive side, we're starting to see problems on that line now. So they have to get better on the line. You mentioned the right tackle spot. They might play more there. They signed him last year. Simmons, the left tackle, who was good when he played last year.
When he was there.
He disappeared for like 5 weeks. He went home. Nobody had an explanation for it. If he's on the field playing, they'll be good up front. I worry about the defensive line. Chris Jones isn't a kid anymore. Karlaftis didn't live up to his contract last year. They need to be better up front on defense.
Speaking of Tampa Bay, the team that beat the Chiefs to go ahead and win the Super Bowl, Mike Evans, after 12 seasons, no longer with Tampa Bay anymore, headed to the 49ers. We're talking about potential contenders. Who would like to go here? Anyone have strong feelings on this one way or another? I know I'm putting you on the spot.
Mike Evans might lead a league in touchdowns next year.
Okay, strong statement.
If he gets those one-on-one opportunities like Devontae Adams got going to the Rams and playing with the other great players of Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle when healthy and everything they have going over there, if you give one-on-one problems, one-on-one lineup issues with Mike Evans, he's going to give the other team issues. And that's just truly what he is. He's unique. He's 6'6". He's going to catch a lot of touchdowns for them when he gets involved in that system. I think it's a great signing for the Niners, and I think that Mike Evans has a few good years left.
So lead him in touchdowns or touchdown catches? Touchdowns. The whole league.
You said the league in touchdown receptions.
Yeah, touchdown catches.
Oh, catches. Okay.
What's the difference for Mike Evans?
Because a running back, well, if you lead the league in touchdowns, that means you're going to have more than a running back.
Touchdown. Well, you hate running backs, but I don't think he's going to have more touchdowns than Christian McCaffrey.
I don't either.
But he'll have more touchdown catches than any other receiver.
I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'll tell you who is happy right now is Brock Purdy. I would expect him to have the best year of his career next year. Completion percentage, touchdowns. You got Kyle Shanahan, you got George Kittle, you got McCaffrey. You add Mike Evans to this group. Come on. If anything, even if Mike Evans can't run 20 yards anymore, I'm not saying he can't. At the least, throw this dude in the red zone.
I'm running a 17-yard stop, and that's